These bottom bolts are going to be a 21. You'll most likely need a breaker bar or a long ratchet. So I'm going to put this in the beginning of the video even though I'm halfway through. Drop the cross member. Drop it with these 2 bolts. Take that 3rd bolt out and just loosen up this one so it doesn't completely come out. That way you can kind of line it back up at the end. But drop that. You are going to have an obnoxious amount of room compared to the way that I did it originally. It's going to show in some of these clips. But this is going to be so much easier putting in than taking out. But if you do drop the cross member in the beginning, you're going to have those bolts, and there's 1 bolt for this heat shield. And you're going to get way easier access to these bolts. Also, you know, absolutely, these side bolts are going to be a 15. They're on both sides. There you go, you can see them. Bottom ones are out. Not too hard. This truck has 180,000 miles on it and they were not that hard, so should have no issues. This small bracket bolt, make sure you take that bolt out before you do the back bolt. I mean, I don't know how to really explain that bolt, but this back hole that you can see above the bracket bolt, that bolt won't come out unless this bracket bolt is out, which that really is just a bracket for the other side of the transmission mount to hold your hanger for your exhaust. Alright, the bolts on the driver's side, they're both 15 still, but you gotta pretty much get in there with a swivel socket, a 15, and maybe like 1 or 2 extensions depending on the size that you got. You can get to that one. It is more of a pain, but it's possible. This last one furthest in, I needed to just basically lift the trans a little bit and just finish it off with the wrench. Alright, it's out. What I did have to do is drop the cross member a little. I left 1 bolt over there, just loosened it up so you can get like some leverage and kind of pry it down. But unless I'm wrong, there is absolutely no way to get this out without dropping that cross member, because these bottom bolts are way too long. I mean, I guess you can cut them, but you might as well just take a couple bolts out and just get it out, because you're not going to be able to get the other one in without doing this anyways. And here's what happens as the trans mount will deteriorate over time. You can see I'm just kind of pushing with my fingers. The whole thing is moving. So eventually you're going to get a ton of vibration, stuff like that. The new ones, you can see when you push on it, nothing really moves. So the rubber starts to deteriorate under here, and you start having a lot of drivability issues, gas mileage will go down, things like that. So my truck's around 180,000 miles. That's when I've had to replace mine. Might have been a little bit before that, but I didn't really notice it too bad until just now. So now an easy way to support this when you're putting it back on, just use this hanger, and you can see I don't have my hands on it. There's no bolts in it, nothing. Should be able to line it up pretty easily, and it should be a little seamless going back in. Probably a lot easier to actually tighten up these top bolts before you tighten the cross member back up. Also, make sure that you use a 2x4. I mean, this is the only piece of wood that I had, so I mean, it's still something to cushion in between the trans, but make sure you use that. Don't just go straight on the case, because you may crack it, anything like that. And like I said, when you go to put this up, the new one, use this hanger. Just throw it on the hanger. It should stay in place, and you should be able to actually just find the bolt holes real easy and get them in there. And everything should go pretty smooth. I mean, you can see you have so much room. I couldn't get this thing in there at all from the beginning, but now I can just slide them straight in. I mean, it is so easy. Another helpful tip that I want to reiterate on, make sure you get this in those holes before you start tightening those up and everything, because once your trans member, or once the trans cross member is dropped, it's a little bit off. So, and what I did was I just kind of got it started in the holes, so everything should line up now, and this should just go straight up, like once these are all tightened up. But I just kind of grabbed the pry bar, just kind of lightly pried against it. This rubber will move just ever so slightly, and it'll let it drop in. And I kind of just used the hammer, just kind of hit it up a little bit, and it's starting to come back. So that's definitely a tip that I would recommend, because if you tighten all those top ones up and then that's not in there, that's going to be a pain. You're probably just going to have to drop the entire cross member, and if you don't have 2 jacks, a little harder. And yeah, there's the new trans mount on. I did have to jack the cross member up a little more. Pretty much just kind of hammered it, left the jack where it was. If you have a jack, just one jack. And then yeah, you can kind of get to these bolts. You can get to pretty much everything. There's a couple little angles, like when I was over here, I kind of went above that drive shaft from the transfer case to get a couple, like to get this one main bracket bolt out, and then the other 2 I just kind of use an extension and a swivel. And then yeah, these should line up, everything should be good. And yeah, hopefully this helped out. Like and subscribe. I'm just hoping that this all helped people out, because I haven't seen any videos really about this and this repair. But like I said, it's pretty much just 15s, a 10, I think a 17 and a 19 for this. No, it's 17 and 15 and an 18. So this is a 15, other side's an 18. And I mean, it's just a lot of maneuvering things, but it comes out pretty easy. If I knew half the things that I knew as I was doing it, that just made everything easier, it would have been way quicker. But hopefully this makes it so it goes a lot quicker for you guys. Like I said, like and subscribe if you want to see more content, more you know, repairs, tips, tricks, all that stuff. I don't see many for the 2015 and up F150s, but I'm definitely going to be having a lot of maintenance done soon to this, so as I do it, I could just record it. If everything starts going well, then yeah, I'm going to just start recording, making some videos, and hopefully help a lot of people out.